Hey, Grace Seekers. I need to be honest with you. I never lost sight of God, but I stopped listening. I got angry, really angry, and I started seeking peace in all the wrong places. Maybe you have too. Today, as we step into December, I want to invite you into something I'm still walking through, preparing our hearts, not just our homes, for Christmas. See, I've always talked to God, conversational prayer throughout the day. That part never stopped. But somewhere along the way, I stopped listening. I let life events dictate my reactions. I let personal pain and the ugliness of the world fill me with anger and frustration. And I started reaching for things that promised to help me feel something other than what I was feeling. Manifestation, affirmations, inspirational podcasts, anything but Him. And here's the thing, I never lost sight of God, but I also didn't seek Him with my whole heart. I kind of didn't trust Him. Even though He'd done miracles in my life, I was kind of mad at Him, blamed Him for allowing things to happen. When really, it was my choices. I'd allowed others to influence me. I'd become the victim again. But about a year ago, God started whispering, calling me back. And the way He's been opening my eyes, wow, it's been incredible. And hard, and definitely not instant. So today I'm not teaching you something I figured out. I'm inviting you into something I'm still learning. Because maybe you've been walking a similar road, and if you have, you're not alone. So welcome to Graceful Growth in Midlife. I'm Teresa. If you're new here, this podcast is where we navigate cultural chaos and personal struggles with biblical clarity and grace. We're figuring this out together, not from a place of arrival. Before we dive in, I created something specifically for this season. It's called the Season of Light, Finding Peace, Purpose, and Renewal in God's Presence. It's a free guide to help you slow down this December, reflect, and rediscover the wonder of Christ's coming. You can grab it at thegracefulgrowth.com. I will link it below so you can grab it from there. Okay, let's get into this. Let me take you back a bit. For years, honestly, most of my adult life, I lived in what I'd call a safe bubble. I avoided the news. I didn't pay attention to politics. I knew things were going on in the world, but I just ignored it. Because what's the point, right? Politicians never face justice. The bad guys always get away with it. So why torture myself? But then COVID happened. And I don't know about you, but that was the moment everything shifted for me. Drop a comment, let me know. Did COVID change something in you as well? We were bombarded, the rules, the daily stats, the constant fear-mongering. Now, I was blessed, and I had a great job. I had security. But so many others were struggling, and I felt the isolation, even though, honestly, I didn't really follow the lockdown rules very well. But here's what got me. I could see it was fake. It was manufactured. I'm not denying people got sick and some very badly, and that hurt. But I hated the lies, the brainwashing, the manipulation, and watching people I regarded as highly intelligent, people I respected, just fall for it like sheep. That's what broke something in me. And then they judged me for my opinions, for questioning the narrative, for not going along with it. The fact that I had to not be who I was and keep my mouth shut to keep the peace. The anger I saw in people I would never have expected it to come from. It was shocking, and it made me angry too. That was the start of my fall. Now, not just at the government or the media, but at everything. At people who hurt me personally and never faced consequences. At the injustice in the world, the corruption, the abuse of power. at the sheep who refused to see what was right in front of them, and at God for allowing it all to happen. And in that place, I started reaching for things that promised peace. Manifestation, positive thinking, inspirational podcasts, even shopping therapy. That cost me a bit. I didn't even realize I was dabbling in a kind of the new age stuff. I just felt like self-help, like I was trying to take control of my life again. But none of it worked. In fact, I went deeper and deeper in the wrong direction. It wasn't until more recently that I started going down those rabbit holes online, researching, reading, and watching videos. And the more I learned, the angrier I got. Jeremiah 2 verse 13 says, "My people have committed two sins. They have forsaken me, the spring of living water, and have dug their own cisterns, broken cisterns that cannot hold water." And that was me. I'd walked away from the source, not completely, but enough. And I was trying to fill myself with things that couldn't actually satisfy. Have you ever felt like you were reaching for all the wrong things, trying to find peace? Comment below. I'd love to hear your story. So let's talk about the anger. Because it wasn't just general frustration. It was specific. It was deep. And it was eating me alive. Personal justice? There were people in my life who'd hurt me deeply, and they never faced consequences, never apologized, never even acknowledged what they'd done. And I wanted them to pay. I wanted justice. I wanted accountability. I wanted them to hurt the way they'd hurt me. And then there's the worldly evil. The injustice in the world, the people getting away with horrific acts, political abuse, corruption, greedy politicians seeking to destroy us for their own gain. All of it happening with no accountability. And I wanted to see them suffer. I wanted them to experience the pain they caused on others. Here's what I didn't realize. I'd become bitter, hateful, and negative. And I was so consumed by wanting to see justice, or really revenge, that I couldn't see anything else. I was stuck in victim mode, blaming everyone else, judging everyone, constantly negative, needing to be right, and so impatient with anyone who didn't see things my way. Maybe that's you right now. Maybe you're so angry at someone or something or at the world even, and that it's starting to poison everything. Because that's where I was, and I justified it. I have a right to be angry, I tell myself. They deserve to face consequences. And you know what? I wasn't wrong about that. They did deserve consequences. But my anger, that wasn't about justice. It was about control and bitterness and unforgiveness. Romans 12:19 says, "Do not take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath. For it is written, 'It is mine to avenge. I will repay,' says the Lord." God was trying to tell me, that's not your job. Vengeance belongs to me. You're trying to carry something you were never meant to carry. But I wasn't listening. Is there someone or something you're holding anger towards right now? Someone you're waiting to see get what they deserve? I see you, and I get it. But I also want to tell you, holding on to that is destroying you more than it's hurting them. So here's where things got interesting. As I was spiraling deeper into anger, bitterness, and all the wrong things, God started isolating me. Now, I didn't see it that way at the time. At the time, it felt like rejection, like people were pulling away, like I was being left behind. But looking back, I can see it clearly. God was removing distractions, stripping away the noise, creating space for Him to work in me. Friendships shifted, some people drifted, my world got smaller, quieter. And in the quiet, God started whispering. Hosea 2:14 says, "Therefore I am now going to allure her. I will lead her into the wilderness and speak tenderly to her." God takes us into the wilderness, into isolation, not to punish us, but to speak to us, to get our attention, to do the deep work that can only happen when everything else is stripped away. And slowly, really slowly, I started to hear him again. Not audibly, but in my spirit, in that quiet inner knowing. He started showing me things about myself I didn't want to see. My judgment, my hatred, my constant negativity, my need to always be right. And it was uncomfortable. Really uncomfortable. But it was also healing. Maybe you're in a season of isolation right now. Maybe God's pulling you away from everything familiar and it feels lonely or confusing. If that's you, I want you to consider this. Maybe that's exactly where he's doing his deepest work. So, what has God been teaching me in this season? Let me walk you through some of the big ones. And as I share these, I'd love to know, what's God been teaching you lately? Drop it in the comments. All right, lesson 1, forgiveness over revenge. I had to learn, and I'm still learning, still working on it every day, that forgiving someone doesn't mean what they did was okay. It means I'm releasing my right to make them pay for it. It means I'm releasing the anger and hurt so my heart can heal. Forgiveness is more for us than for those who hurt us. It means I'm trusting God to handle it because he's the final judge, not me. Galatians 3:13. Bear with each other and forgive one another. If any of you has a grievance against someone, forgive as the Lord forgave you. Did I say Galatians? It's Colossians. Colossians 3:13. Lesson 2. Grace first, not judgment. I realized that my constant judgment of people, of situations, of everything wasn't changing anyone's heart. It was just making me bitter. But grace opens doors. Grace invites conversation. Grace changes hearts. That doesn't mean I don't have discernment. It just means I lead with kindness instead of condemnation. Romans 2 verse 4 says, God's kindness is intended to lead you to repentance. Not his harshness, his kindness. Lesson 3, seeing the other side. God started showing me that people who hurt me, they were hurting too. That doesn't excuse their behavior, but it does help me see them as broken people, not just villains. And when I can see them in that way, it's easier to pray for them instead of wishing harm. Lesson 4, taking accountability. This was a hard one because it meant admitting that I wasn't just a victim. I'd made choices. I'd allowed people to influence me. I'd let bitterness take root. And I had to own that. Galatians, this time, 6 verse 4 and 5. Each one should test their own actions. Then they can take pride in themselves alone, without comparing themselves to someone else, for each one should carry their own load. Lesson 5. Staying grounded when the world is ugly. The world is ugly right now. There is injustice. There are horrific things happening. But I can't let that consume me. I can't let fear and anger dictate how I live. I have to stay grounded in God, in his truth, his peace, his sovereignty, even when everything around me feels chaotic. John 16:33. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. These lessons, I'm still learning them, still walking them, every single day. I don't have it all figured out yet, but I'm not where I was, and that's definitely something. So tell me, what lessons have been hard but necessary in your life? I'd really love to hear. So here's why I'm sharing all of this now. As we step into December, into Christmas, into this season of preparing for Christ's coming, I think we need to shift our focus. We spend so much time preparing our homes, decorating, shopping, planning meals, making everything look perfect. But what about our hearts? What if this December we focus less on the external and more on the internal? What if we ask God, what do you want to prepare in me? Because here's what I'm learning. Preparing my heart means acknowledging where I am honestly, not pretending I'm fine when I'm not. Asking God to show me what needs changing and being willing to hear the answer. That's a big one. Choosing grace over judgment in my relationships, in how I see the world, and how I see myself. Trusting Him with the outcome. Letting go of my need to control, to see justice, to make things happen. Staying grounded in Him, not the chaos. Choosing His peace over the world's fears. Luke 1 verse 17 says, to make ready a people prepared for the Lord. That's what Christmas is about. Not perfect decorations, a prepared heart. So here's my question for you. What does preparing your heart look like this December? What's one thing God's asking you to release, to change, to surrender? Think about it, and if you're comfortable, share it in the comments. Let's walk this journey together. Okay, Grace Seeker, I'm still on this journey. I don't have it all figured out. I'm still learning how to forgive, how to release control, how to trust God when the world feels dark. But I'm learning, and I'd love for you to walk it with me. Here's what I'd love for you to do. First, download my free Season of Light guide at thegracefulgrowth.com. It'll help you prepare your heart, not just your house, this December. Second, head over to the blog and read the full written version of this episode. You can bookmark it, come back to it, or share it with someone who needs it. And third, leave a comment. Tell me your story. Where are you on this journey? What's God been teaching you? I read every single one, and I'd love to hear from you. So next week, we're talking about being the example, the light. Because once we've prepared our hearts, we get to shine His light into the darkness. Until then, take a deep breath, let go of what you're not meant to carry, and trust that God is preparing you for something beautiful. I'll talk to you soon. God bless.